What's happening? Well, now that I'm getting ready for that show, I decided to make an oversized chair and another love seat out of this crazy tiger maple. Now, I was talking about this maple the other day, or a couple of weeks ago when I was making that console table, right? And it really is some unbelievable stuff, but it's quite difficult to work with because it has some fiddleback in it and a ton of tiger in it, you know what I'm saying to you? And the pieces that are right here are basically the hat wood, okay? So you can kind of see, I'm just gonna walk around a little bit. You can see that they're like 10-inch wide boards, but you notice how it has all the striping over here, but over here it's darker because it has the hot wood in it, right? And that's all corded, but it has some knots in it and whatnot, so it's really not what I'm hoping to get. And look, like I was saying before, this stuff was like $3 grand, so it costs an awful lot of money for this material. You know what I'm saying to you? And I just don't want to cut it apart like a banana head. You know what I mean? And then just end up, you know, with a crappy project. So, I was probably really close to you guys, right? So I thought it'd be hopefully educational and interesting to show you a little bit of what I do, all right? And it all starts with making sure that you mark your parts from the get-go, okay? So when I'm doing like rough milling, I'll have like a piece of chalk that I write stuff on, you know what I mean? And then I'll cut the board apart, right? And then before I go to like use a joiner or the planer, I'm gonna take those marks, I'm gonna put them on the ends so I don't get lost. And then when I go to cut things to final length, I again transfer those marks to the face. So let me see if I can show you a little bit that will help you, hopefully make sense of it a little bit, all right? So, let me see if I can zoom in with my phone, my camera, whatever. Yeah, that's cool, huh? Now if I just had a little gizmo. I don't know if that's gonna be close enough anyways. So look, you can see that the grain pattern across those 4 pieces right there is sequential, right? And then if you look at the top of it, you see how it's all marked? A, B, C, D, with the arrows pointing up. And you can see that the grain is consistent across the top of those pieces, right? And then over here, you can see again that I have like a squiggly mark, and then I got like that 3 mark. It's because I have, you know, the 1, 2 over there. And again, the grain matters. You see that? So I know when I go to pick this stuff up, and when I go to make a project, I can hopefully start to control what's going on here, right? And this takes a long time to get good at, all right? Let me back up a little bit. I mean, it takes a really long time to get good at this. So, let's just talk about these for a second. You see the grain pattern there? It looks pretty slick, right? But this piece right here is obviously going to be in the back, right? Because this is where the hot wood is, like I was talking about, and I like the AB pieces. So these 2 I know are going to just be in the back. So let's just focus on these 2 pieces right here. So I don't know if I want to concentrate on this striping here, or if I want to concentrate on the striping of the tiger maple going that way. So if I turn it around, let's see what that looks like. You can probably see a little more tiger stripe in it, right? But I'm not 100% sold on that either. So this is really interesting. Like if you take this piece and turn it upside down, you see how it changed? You see how that color changed on that piece right there? And you can almost get away with it, you know, because of these lines kind of line up. But I know that the light's gonna interact with these 2 pieces differently, so you know, I'm always making sure that I have the faces of these things connected. So instead of just flipping an endo, if I turn it this way, see what's going on there? Now I was able to create a different type of pattern, but knowing that the light is going to interact with this thing in the same way. And you probably can't see the striping in it. Let's see if I can get closer. You see a little bit of the striping? Now it's going down in both directions. That is what I think I'm going to be going after. So once I have those pieces decided, I can start to think about what these pieces are going to be like. And you can definitely see that the striping and all this material is wild, right? You see that? But look, as soon as I turn it up this way, there's a totally different vibe to it, right? And if I turn it endo, it will be even more dramatic or more, it'll just be different than what it is, right? Well, not what it is, but it'll be the exact opposite of what it could be, you know? So, for instance, I know I'm not making any sense because I've been looking at this stuff for like 6 hours now and I'm getting a little punchy. You can see that it's light this way, but if I turn it that way, it's gonna be much lighter, right? And then the stripes are gonna be more prevalent, but the fiddle back here is less, right? So it's just a matter of trying to figure out what I want this to look like. Then once I figure out what I want it to look like overall, I can start to number these pieces as parts now. So instead of it being, you know, piece 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, this is gonna be front rail face out. You know what I mean? This is gonna be left leg, right leg, face, left leg, face. And look, this is really difficult. I ain't gonna lie. To get really good at this and control what you want your overall projects to look like, takes a long time of just looking at this stuff and learning from mistakes. I've made a ton of mistakes with this stuff because, you know, I've done this before and then the light looked totally different on this piece. And I mean like on the face of a desk or something. So now I'm really, really good at this. You know what I mean? I should be. I mean, I've put a lot of hours looking at this stuff like a mental case, you know what I mean? So, like, this is the oversized chair and it's gonna be super fluffy with a back on it. And, you know, having one piece alone doing all this stuff is one thing, right? But I'm gonna make an ottoman for it, and I'm also making a love seat. So you can see over here, you see my pots? You see how I have like the striping going up at an angle this ways? And you see how I have the striping of the tiger maple going away on the right, the left and the right face, you see that? So trying to make it happen with one piece, but then have another one that's corresponding and matching that looks beautiful is the name of the game. And that's why I spend a long time doing this type of stuff with my material, because let's be honest, doing the motors and tenons is going to be pretty easy. Figuring out like how to join this stuff together is relatively simple for me at this point. But the overall aesthetic of what I want out of that rough material to come to life in my project is the thing that I'm most concerned with and most focused on. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think I have things the way that I want them to be, but we'll see. You know, once I mock them and once I decide what they're gonna be, that's what they're gonna be. So I'm just gonna spend another hour or so figuring out what I want this to be like, and then, you know, we'll cut it all apart, do the mortise and tenons and bang these things together, and then I need to figure out the arms because I actually ran out of material on the two that I was hoping to get this stuff out of, right? That's why I get that little piece left. And I got some stuff against the wall over there. That like right there, that'll be for like the back and whatnot, you know what I mean? So that'll be all right. But what I need to do here is I need to figure out what I want for the arms, and then I'll cut it out of this rough material, and then I'll make the ottoman out of it and everything else. So eventually all this stuff is gonna look the same. It's gonna have harmony, not just in and of itself, within its own like confines of the design of say this, you know, chair or love seat, but the chair, the love seat, the end tables, the ottoman, and maybe, I don't know, a rocking chair. No, actually I'm gonna make another console table. all that stuff will have total harmony, and it's just gonna look sweet in somebody's house. All right, well that's it. Hopefully you learned something.